Hello everyone, welcome back. Please comment, rate, subscribe, folks. Comment, rate, subscribe, like the videos. Also share the videos. I want to thank everyone that does like, watch, and share my videos. You folks are the absolute best. Listen, folks, there's a link to you down below. Has the links to all of my social media platforms. Please go down there. Follow me across all my social media platforms and talk to me because I'll talk back. Also down there as well as links to all of my YouTube pages. Please go down there, subscribe to all my YouTube pages, and turn on your notifications so when I post content, you folks will be in the know. Now, with that said and done and put to the side, I've come to talk to you folks today about Shedeur Sanders. Yes. There's been a lot of talk about Shedeur Sanders, and there is a lot of talk that's been rumors swirling that Shedeur could slide out of the top 5 and possibly be there when the New York Jets are sitting at 7 at this point, okay? So it's interesting. Give the video a thumbs up, comment down below. All right, let me know what you think and subscribe and hit that notification bell if you haven't already because I want to get into this, all right? Now, there's been a lot of talk surrounding Shedeur Sanders. Right? This guy has really, you look at the situation with him, and right now Shedeur and Cam Ward are the two top prospects in a draft that really isn't, too great at quarterback, right? It's really him, Cam, and then the rest of the guys. You talk about Jackson Dart and Jalen Milroe, but those guys are much further down the board than these two guys. These two guys, Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders, far and away are the two top guys that people are looking at, right? And ever since, right, the combine, there's been a lot of talk about Shedeur sliding out of the top 5, okay? A lot of people have Cam Ward, as of right now, locked in to be the top QB taken off the board first, all right? Now, when you look at that situation, I'm saying to myself, well, if he's sitting there, if Shedeur Sanders is sitting there when the Jets pull up at 7, I don't think the Jets are going to pass on him. I don't. And I don't because the Jets are QB hungry, okay? We're a very QB hungry team right now. Yes, we got Justin Fields in the building. That's all well and good. We'll see what's going on with him. I like Justin Fields. But we also need a QB for the future, right? A guy that we need to know is going to be here for years to come to lead the New York Jets. So I look at Shedeur Sanders and I say, well, what are some of his strengths, right? What are some of his strengths? Because this is a guy, again, that if he slides out the top 5, could possibly become a New York Jet. And when I look at Shedeur Sanders, one of the things that pops out when you watch him is his ability to throw from the pocket. Dude, he is really good from the pocket. And that's a huge aspect of being successful at quarterback in the NFL level. Now, you can be great, running outside. We saw that with Zach Wilson, right? The backyard football stuff, getting outside the pocket, extending plays with your feet and all that good stuff, and naked bootlegs, getting outside, launching the ball down the field, big bombs going on down the field. That's all well and good. But why did Zach Wilson fail with the New York Jets? Because he could never put it together from the pocket. He wasn't a very good pocket quarterback, not at all. But when you look at Shedeur is a guy that is accurate. He gets the ball out of his hands very quickly. He's also a guy that drops back and can take a hit and still deliver the football. Man, he made one throw when at Colorado that was really impressive to me, and I want y'all to see this because he drops back, man, and he looks up, looks to his right, sees the wide receiver, launches it downfield, and drops it into a bucket for that wide out over a defender, right? Like, that's just a really good throw. And you can see that he can get things downfield as well. His pro day was impressive as well, right? You look at the guy's pro day, he was making some throws out there too, right? He made a big throw down the field to a wide receiver. One of the things that people picked up about his pro day, though, and I think it was a little overblown, but Andre Cisco saw, Shedeur dropping back and patting the ball, and basically, spoke out against it and said, hey, if you don't clean that up, we at the next level in the NFL, we're going to pick those off. And, there were some players that came out. I think Slayton came out and spoke up for Shedeur and was like, that's not how it works. like it don't work like that in the NFL, dog. If it did, then every corner would have like 8+ picks or something like that. And there was a lot of discussion surrounding this, and people immediately started, oh, he's never going to be good because he pats the ball a lot and things like that. Listen, patting the ball in the NFL as a quarterback, to me, is not that big of a deal because I've seen thousands of quarterbacks do it. The greatest do it. Tom Brady pat the ball. Like, he's patted the ball before he's thrown the ball a bunch of times. There's guys in the league that still do it today, a bunch of them, right? I saw a clip of Caleb Williams doing it on a play where he patted the ball like 40, 50 times before he threw it and got it in there for a touchdown. So it doesn't, that to me is not a big deal. That's something that you can work out of his DNA. If it's that big of a deal, you can work with quarterback coaches at the next level, right? In the NFL, which is full of guys that can help you, kind of get that out of your DNA, patting the ball like that, which has never been a big deal. Look at how many quarterbacks that don't know how to slide start working with coaches to help them slide, and then they evolve their game in that manner. Like, it's not that big of a deal. It is what it is, right? But one of Shedeur's weaknesses, and again, young quarterbacks coming into the league, they all have weaknesses, okay? Every last one. Even Trevor Lawrence, which was just like a guy that you look at his scouting evaluations, he's probably one of the highest graded quarterbacks as far as scouting in ever, okay? People were like, he is perfect. There's nothing wrong with him. But he had, some deficiencies in his game like everybody else. And I think one deficiency for Shedeur is his arm strength. He doesn't have the biggest arm in the world, right? Now he can make the throws, right? He can get the ball there, short, intermediate stuff. Like he's going to work. Even the deep stuff, he can do that. But he doesn't have a huge arm. He's not a Josh Allen. Now, when I say that, right, you don't have to have a huge arm like Josh Allen to be successful in this league, right? At the same time, okay? You look around the league, like Brock Purdy does not have a huge arm. He don't have a huge arm, dog, but he's a really good quarterback, right? And we see him handle business within his system out there, with the Niners. There's various other quarterbacks around the league. Heck, we're Jets fans, right? We love this team, right, in New York. Chad Pennington, one of the greatest Jets quarterbacks ever, he didn't have a big arm. He didn't, right? It was known around the league that Chad didn't have a big arm. But Chad would do business, okay? He was going out there, he was surgical, and he would take you apart. And again, with Shedeur's presence in the pocket being so strong already as a young quarterback, him being able to handle those things, I think that the lack of arm strength won't hurt him that much at the next level, right? Won't hurt him that much at the next level. Now, I want to bring something else up as well that I think is a very interesting aspect before I close out. One of the things that I think will also help Shedeur have real success in the NFL is that the mental stuff outside of football that usually would take a lot of other players, out of the league, things that would sidetrack you, money, all the stuff, the trinkets of being an NFL football player, especially a quarterback in the league. I don't think it's going to affect Shedeur the same way because Shedeur Sanders grew up in that limelight. He did. His father is Deion Sanders, right? People argue that Deion Sanders may be the greatest cornerback to ever play the game, right? We know Deion is flashy. Deion is Deion, is prime. like we don't even have to say Deion is prime, right? We all know what prime is about. It's prime time. We know what time it is, right? And you look at what Deion's been able to do, a great in the league. He's won. He's done everything you need to do, right? Hall of Fame guy, blah, blah, blah. Then he goes into coaching, right? Goes from one school to the other, and the fanfare and all the things that it brought there. And he took Shedeur, from that school to Colorado where they're at, and all the hoopla and everything that surrounded them. I just don't think that Shedeur is going to get sidetracked by all the things, all the commotion surrounding him, because he's grown up in this. He's not going to get wowed and big-eyed by a lot of these guys in the league because he's grown up around these guys. Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin, bro, he grew up around this. He was working with Tom Brady earlier. His father has all these connections. He's a great player, so he's surrounded, by great players, and stuff like that. So I don't think Shedeur is going to get sidetracked by any of that stuff. Even cars and money, Shedeur's had that his whole life. I don't think there's a car out there that Shedeur hasn't driven or doesn't have the access to drive. So the things that would sidetrack a lot of these young players, I don't think will sidetrack him. Okay, and I don't think that Shedeur Sanders could get to where he was at if he wasn't a guy that worked extremely hard. He wouldn't be where he's at. Okay, I understand he has the Sanders name. That's another thing people like to say. Well, his father's Deion Sanders, so that's why. No, no. Listen, his father is Deion Sanders, but you can tell that Shedeur is a guy that works his butt off to get to where he's gotten. This guy is not a guy that's rolling out of the bed an hour and 30 minutes before the game and just going out there and launching the football around. No, he's watching film. He's refining his mechanics. He's working hard. You can tell. You can tell. Okay, being a Sanders alone is not going to get you to where he is right now, being a guy considered as a top QB in this upcoming draft, a guy that people are going to take, at the top of the draft. It doesn't work like that. Now, there's other options for the Jets as well. At quarterback, we talk about Jackson Dart, Jalen Milroe, Ewers as well is a guy. McCord, a lot of people talk about him too. Will Howard, okay, is a guy that not a lot of people are talking about, but Will Howard is a guy that is very interesting from O State that I think has a chance. Now again, okay, you look at especially a guy like Jaden Milroe and McCord and all these guys. I don't think they're day one starters. Okay, even Jackson Dart, I don't think is a day one starter. I think he's a guy you got to sit down behind a veteran QB, give the guy a year, maybe 2 years, but it's at least a year to really get his head wrapped around what's going on in the NFL. And then once that happens, you can put him out there, and I think he'll have some success. Now, I'll tell you what, Jalen Milroe, he's a guy, his athletic ability is so off the charts. If the Jets end up with him, I will not be upset. But I'll be talking about those guys later on down the road. But the rest of the guys, honestly, you're going to have to sit them, okay? So, but I really like Shedeur Sanders, and I wouldn't be upset if the Jets end up taking him at 7. I wouldn't, because I don't know if you can pass on him when you're in a situation that the New York Jets are in. So, comment down below. Let me know what you folks think. How do you folks feel about Shedeur Sanders? Okay, if he was at 7, would you like to see the New York Jets take him? If you were the Jets general manager, would you take Shedeur Sanders at number 7? I want to know. And if you don't like Shedeur, right? What do you think is his biggest weakness, right? If you do like Shedeur, what do you think is his biggest strength? Let me know. Let me know what you guys think, all right? Are you concerned about Shedeur and the outside stuff? Because there's a lot of people that's been talked about. He's very flashy, Joe. He's very flashy. I don't like that. Okay. I hear you. Comment down below. Let me know what you folks think. You folks have a good one. Peace.